Hi everyone, this is Mary Dalba.
And I'm Ericka Ayub.
And thanks for listening to our podcast today. We have some great information to go over with you. All right, so today's topic, we're going to talk about energy and sex.
How scandalous.
Scandalous, yes. Really what we want to talk about, why would energy and sex be important to know about?
Well,
it's actually very
energy is
important.
everything.
Mm-hmm. So when we interact with people, and we've talked about in some different information that we've given out in different shows, we've talked a little bit about what energy is and how interacting with people can affect us. Mm-hmm. Well, one of the most important and intimate things we do is
Doing the nasty,
the nookie with somebody.
Yeah.
So how does that affect people? I mean, how does that affect someone when you get into an intimate relationship with somebody, or you happen to meet someone at a bar one night and you're like, hey,
Hey, I like you.
I
nice
like
shoes.
You. Yeah.
We all know the next question.
Yes. What's your sign, baby? What's your sign?
Yes.
How can that affect you? How can that stay with you? How can that really change your emotions for the day, for time afterwards? Mm-hmm. So really, we're going to take that topic and we're going to explore it today. Mm-hmm. Ericka, we had talked about this offline at one point about how that can really affect a person when you meet somebody and you get into a situation with them, and not to quote, Jersey Shore, but a situation. Yeah, I know. I had to go there. Sorry.
Yeah.
But what does that do to a person? I mean, you think about it day to day. Like you and I hang out together and we talk and our energy kind of vibes and we have a certain energy from each other. Mm-hmm. But when you take it to that next level with somebody that you're close to, how does that literally sit with you?
It's very interesting. I feel like that energy is definitely everything, especially when it comes down to being intimate with someone. You need to be very selective. Especially as someone who is empathic, you tend to take on the emotions of others. And when you get into an intimate relationship with them, that really just kind of like opens up a channel to some of their real deepest feelings, the good and the bad.
Oh, that. So I really got to think about all that.
You got to really think about that. The person that you're being with, you're going to take on, and as they're going to take on your stuff and you're going to take on their stuff. Mm-hmm. So if you guys are in a good space, having a good time, you could get swept up in the emotions, but at the same time, there could be some deeper stuff that you carry along with you after the day, the morning after, and something's off, something doesn't feel right, and you don't almost feel like yourself, like, that's just what happens. But
now, would you say the way I look at it is there's an energy exchange, right? So you think you're two separate energies, right? And then you meet this person and your energy sort of vibe and it's like things are going on. And then you connect those two energies, these two people and two energies and body parts and things come together.
All those beautiful things.
And then you separate. And when you separate, I think what it does is it takes pieces of you and gives it to them, pieces of them and gives it to you. And then when you separate, there is a change. There's an energetic change.
Absolutely. You may not see it on the physical level after you're done getting intimate, but on the energetic level, you could be carrying a lot. And so I think for some people walking around, day to day and thinking about, they may have certain thoughts, they may have certain actions, it could affect them, in their heart center, and it could affect them really just kind of if they're carrying around someone's muck, that can affect you in all kinds of places in your life. And it's not a judgmental thing. We're not saying, listen, if you want to go out and get your groove on, get your groove on. You do your thing.
Do your thing. But one of the things maybe to think about is that who you're getting your groove on can affect you positively or negatively. So I know, Ericka, you've said you've worked with some clients that maybe have had some experiences with people that have come to you energetically afterwards to kind of clean off, if you want to say.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about those?
Yeah, definitely. Well, I have some clients that I've been working with for a while who, part of the whole energy work and mind-body balance is that, we kind of talk about the things that bother them on a real personal level, or the things that they're just kind of, I feel like everything affects everything. So they bring in some of their personal life to kind of help balance out their regular social life and professional life, because everything really affects them. So I have a client who has been into, they've been into open love. They're not in a serious committed relationship. They date casually, and they tend to, enjoy themselves with other people. So they've noticed that they tend to be more psychically inclined themselves. And they, as they've gotten older, have become much more selective of their partners, because even at a young age, like, emotions can be very confusing, especially if you're empathic or just happen to, tend to pick up things from other people. So even at a young age, you feel the emotions, you feel the passion, and just get into it. And then later, something just doesn't feel right. Yeah. They've described to me that, they've been with people that they've only known for, let's say a few hours, or they've had a date with, and they end up just enjoying themselves to the fullest extent, we'll say. So
they have blossomed like a flower.
And they had no problem sharing that. But they tend to, they felt like they've taken on, or they felt strange after each different partner. They've described feelings to me that were very exclusive to each person. So it's interesting to kind of maybe consider that, they've picked up some deep feelings off their partner at the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's interesting, because I had a client come to me recently, and I did a tarot reading for her. She started off that way. And in the reading, it was interesting. I picked up that she had finally connected with someone that she had been chasing around for a while. I think it was about a couple of years. They worked together, and finally that connection was made. And she's like, I feel really weird now. I feel really awkward. I feel really, and it's not because they still talk. I mean, they're talking back and forth, but she said, it was one of those situations where I just felt like we weren't really compatible per se. And so, it was one of those like kind of conquest things. Like, she was going to get that guy. She was going to make sure she got that guy. And then, and then finally she got the guy, and she said, I feel really like awkward and weird and strange. And maybe she was picking up what he was feeling afterwards. Maybe she was picking up how he felt about the whole thing. But she said it definitely didn't feel like it was her, and in talking with her, we talked about a way to, cleanse her aura. One of the ways I tell people is Florida water is this amazing thing that you can use to, put on your hands and then just kind of wipe down your energy. And that's a way to do it. But, the more important thing is that we talk about connections through energy, and being in a room with someone and you're like, oh, I don't like that person. But then, when you get into an intimate level with them, it takes it to a whole different place. So it's being conscious of that. I call them Mr. Right Nows.
That's appropriate. Yeah. That's appropriate.
Or Mr. Right hours, like he's Mr. Right that hour. So, yeah, I mean, is that bad? Is that terrible?
Mr. Saturday.
Mr. Sunday. Mr.
Mr.
Monday morning.
Yeah, maybe afternoon.
Yeah.
A nooner.
A nooner, afternoon delight. So I think one of the things that maybe we can think about to talk about with people is, what are some of the dangers of connecting with people on that level? What is the danger of that? I mean, because some people are like, meh, I don't care. I mean, like, it was just a moment. I was just having a physical moment. And it's like, well, but that's the point, is there's more to it than
there's
that.
Always more to it. There's always the fine print that you don't always kind of read before you get involved with somebody. They may not be completely obvious with you, but there's always those red flags that kind of go up before you kind of either date someone or, consider spending a lot more time with. So you just have to be really careful what you take on, because even all these negative things, like, you can see that someone can be maybe a little bit too full of themselves on a date, or these little things here and there that you might even find attractive about them, but they may not necessarily be once you get down to it, and maybe the afterwards. It's funny, because all of us kind of in that lustful funk are just like, you're hot, let's go. But afterwards you're just like, what was I thinking?
Yeah.
And those are kind of the moments we have to live with, because we may have taken on some attributes of another person that may not have been compatible with our own, or something that we shouldn't be taking on.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's like you said, it's just a physical connection. You have to literally listen to your gut, I think, when you make that, because it's the stars are in your eyes, I want to say. You have the rose-colored glasses on. The lust is in your eyes.
Stars and a few drinks.
Right, a few drinks. Yeah, there could be that.
Yeah.
And really looking at it from that perspective of, so if I connect with this person on that level, what is that? How is that going to affect me? How is that going to be, after I split from them? How is that going to be? How am I going to feel about everything? Not necessarily yourself. Again, it's not a judgmental thing. And I don't want people to feel like it's a judgmental thing. It's not at all. It's more of just protecting yourself from connecting with that energy in such a deep way. You're laughing at me.
What popped in my head as you were saying that, not only do you need the physical protection while you are intimate with a partner, you need an emotional condom. Yeah. I'm not even serious. I'm completely serious.
I love it. I love it.
So
it's amazing.
No glove, no love, guys. Yeah. Okay.
No glove all around.
You need the emotional and the physical glove.
Yeah.
Because it really does make an impact on yourself and the other person that you're with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think you had said when we were talking about this, is that they literally lay their problems down on you. They literally lay everything on you.
Period. Yeah. Lay.
That lay thing.
It's more than just a physical thing.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's stuff that you hold on to, and I think that's why intimate connections are so amazing. When you're with somebody you love, they're so powerful, and they can bring you to tears, and they can, just do all this amazing things for you. But when you're not with somebody...
When you're not, they can take your power away.
Absolutely.
And you could take on some of their negative aspects.
Right. And just, sometimes you're just carrying around and not feeling so great about things.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, Ericka, what would you recommend to people? I mentioned the Florida water kind of cleaning off your energy. What would you recommend to people to clean off their energy if they wanted to?
If they wanted to, let's see... If they were looking to put on the emotional condom, so to speak.
I love it. It's so awesome.
I'm being frank. That's kind of how it is.
It's amazing.
Yeah. I would imagine that, before you're getting into it, just make sure you keep your energy separate and kind of set that, maybe through an affirmation, and just say, what's mine is mine, and what's there is theirs. What happens now is what happens now.
Right.
And you just kind of stay in the moment rather than, carry that with you, because there could be some things that you're wanting to forget something, they're wanting to forget something, you're just enjoying yourself, but there's always strings attached. So you just have to kind of make sure that both of you are on that same level where you're not going to be dropping your baggage on each other. Mm-hmm. So you can just kind of put that in your mind before you get down to business, that, you keep yourself separate, you keep yourself protected, and all this is what it is. It's more just having a good time.
Oh, don't need nothing. I was just thinking of, what was it, Bret Michaels, who's Poison? Don't need nothing but a good time. All right. I'm just sorry. I watched Rock of Love over the weekend, and that's what came into my mind.
It's on the brain.
It's on the brain. Yes. Talk about people not protecting themselves. Oh,
Bret
my goodness.
Michaels.
Well, you think about it. There's 20 people sitting in a house trying to vie for one guy, and talk about the energy flying around in that place.
Oh my gosh, I can't even imagine.
No,
that would be so overwhelming.
Overwhelming and crazy, and it just, if you happen to DVR'd it, or you can find it on demand. If you watch one episode of Rock of Love, you'll see what I'm talking about. It's just, there's energy flying all over that place, and a lot of sexual energy.
Any types of those shows, not even Rock of Love, but any type of Bachelor-esque type show, it's just so much. It's so stressful for me to just watch it, because I see all the different types of partners freaking out.
Well, yeah, and imagine the energetic cords that are connected. There's this one target, so this one guy, this one girl, and then usually they bring in 20 to 25 people.
And he has to try and make a connection with each and every one of them.
Right, so
that's impossible.
Mm-hmm. And so
there's
energetic cords are flying everywhere, just everywhere.
We're talking about cords, yeah, pretty much. So all of these different women are trying to match up with, it's like musical chairs. That's all I can think of.
They're all running around the chair. He's
all
in the
trying to run around the chair,
oh,
and
God,
he
trying
like
to get in his lap.
It's just reality shows, huh?
It is.
But anyway.
But it shows, it's a good example of those chords that are connected. You know, these people are saying, I just decided I'm so in love with him. I'm like, you've known him 2 days. Like you don't, you know, and that's fine. If you fall in, there is love at first sight. I believe that, but
yeah, absolutely.
But the chords that I think that hit that person. And then when you say, so this is something, you know, from just even a one-on-one, it doesn't have to be rock love, but when you make that energetic chord with someone, you separate, you create this connection with someone that's known as an energetic chord. And then, so when you can feel somebody around, you think of them, they call you, it's that energetic chord that connects.
Yeah.
And then trying to unravel that cord so you don't have the connection anymore can be really difficult.
It's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work. So a lot of people say that, you know, when they meet somebody and it's unrequited love, you know, they have this connection, they can't stop thinking about them. They're, you know, they say things they usually say, they see them different places, you know, that's that cord that's connected between them. So I think it's a little bit of a challenge when you decide to create a cord with somebody, and that can happen definitely through an intimate level. You have to be really careful about that, because that takes some meditation and work and healing in order to
break free from that.
Yeah. And it can be really intense.
It's a lot of work.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. So I think some of the, you know, advice that I would give to people out there is, you know, just make sure that you're careful about, again, who you're connecting with, you know, who you're creating intimate, strong, foundational relationships with. It can be sex, and we were talking about sex here,
but it's not just limited to sex. It could be really, really close, like friendships, even like people that you keep on your really tight circle.
Right. So you got to be careful of that, because if something is going off balance there, it can definitely knock you off balance. And that is something that I think is really important to think about, is like, if I'm feeling this way, or if I'm spending time with this person and then I come away from it feeling down or low or angry or whatever, that can be a sign of you've got some energetic, you know, connection that's going on there that may not be serving you so well. So
so it's like time to reassess.
Right.
Yeah. When something doesn't feel right, go with your gut.
Best advice. Best advice.
Yeah.
You know, and I think saying goodbye to some people is not a bad thing either. It's not a bad thing. It may be difficult. We don't like to do it. I know.
It's never easy.
But saying goodbye to people, I know, is a difficult thing to do, but sometimes you do. You have to close the door on the relationship at that point. Maybe it'll come back around. There'll be some growth that happens. It'll come back around. You'll be in a different place. But letting that kind of thing go might be actually really healthy for both of you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. If folks want to get in touch with us, Ericka, how can folks get in touch with us?
If you guys just want to give us a contact, our email address is Ericka, Ericka, and Mary podcast @gmail.com.
Excellent. And we'll talk to you again soon. You'll be listening to us again, hopefully at some point. And feel free to reach out to us, guys. Thanks so much.
Thank you.